When I'm out detecting, I very often ask myself, do I actually push my Deus to its limits? And another question, I guess, is what are my Deus's limits? Finding deep targets, investigating 50-50 signals, what's it all about? Sometimes it's not a case of putting in settings to get the best performance. Very often it's a case of using what you've got and interpreting the signals correctly. For example, audio response. That's a very underrated feature and one of my favourites. Just watch this video and let me demonstrate the advantages of audio response. I've got two targets here. I want you to listen to both of them and tell me which one you dig and what one you wouldn't dig. Here's the first target. How would you describe that? It's very faint. There's a little bit of iron tone with it. I've got no meter reading at all. I think I dig that one. What about you? Let's go on to target number 2. Target number 2. Not very nice, is it? There's iron tone, it's distorted. Would you dig that one? I don't think I would, to be honest with you. I'd prefer to dig number 1 and leave number 2. Would you believe both targets were the same target? They were just taken from different camera angles. The difference is target number 1 was an audio response number 3. Target number 2 was audio response 7. So you can see running a high audio response may lose you deep targets because you'll just simply think they're iron. I've no idea what that target is. I haven't dug it yet. So let's dig it and see if I was right or wrong. So that just proves audio response at 3 gives you a better perception of depth. If it's quiet, it doesn't matter if it's got a little bit of iron tone with it. It's allowed to because the ground has started to consume the target. That's where your iron buzz is coming from. But if you have the audio response high, it just distorts everything. Right, I hope that's given you an insight into the audio response and how important it is. So what settings am I going to be using in the field? Simply the Deus fast, no other changes, 14 kilohertz with the HF coil. And what I'm planning to do is go out there and find some suspicious signals, 50-50 signals, investigate them and see if we can turn them into good non-ferrous targets. The key here is ticking the right boxes. Is the target quiet? Can we locate it every time under the coil? As you can see, my audience is behind me. They're eager to go. They're waiting to see what I'm finding. So let's get set up and I'll see you out in the field. What do you reckon to that one then? Would you dig it? It's really, really short, choppy, but it ticks 2 of the boxes. We can locate it under the coil and it's really, really faint. So what more to say? Let's investigate. Just let you hear it again before I dig it. Don't forget, a shallow target will sound like that. Here we go. That's a bit more like it. We're even getting a VDI number now of 50. That's a tiny little piece of lead, nothing exciting, but we've converted a 50-50 signal into something what could have potentially been good. You're listening carefully? Oh, that's a real 50-50. But you can just hear there's something good there. It's not just an iron sound, it's, how can I explain it? It's just an audio spike in the middle of it. And these are the targets you should be digging if you want to push your Deus to the limits. I'm not saying it's going to be a good or a bad target, we simply don't know at this stage, but they're the ones you should be investigating. We're out. That, I believe, is some sort of medieval pendant. You can see it's got a little hook on it there and a little dish shape. I'm quite confident in saying that's medieval. Once again, about 7-8 inches down with a little squeaky signal. It's all coming together. Oh, listen to that one. That is a textbook deep signal. It's faint, it's whispery, it's got a consistent tone. I could listen to that all day long. Brilliant. Let's have a look. We're still going, look. There it is, on the top of the spoil. Happy days. Some sort of coin, I don't know exactly what it is, but I wouldn't say that was a 50-50 signal, I'd say that was a textbook signal, so not really a part of the experiment, but they're still good to find, and look how deep it was. I'm really pleased with that. Just goes to prove what the Deus has got under the bonnet. One thing I haven't mentioned is meter readings. Why haven't I mentioned meter readings? Well, it's simply because the targets are deep. The meter readings in most cases are just going to be a dash. There's going to be no numbers on deep targets. But you rely on the audio. The audio is far more reliable than the meter. So remember, when you're looking for deep targets and digging suspicious signals, don't worry too much about the meter. Use your ears. What do you think? You know the score by now. Let's just dig it. Still down there. There it is, look, on the top. Silver. Listen to what it sounds like now. Beautiful. Another 50-50 turns into a good one. Can you hear that? Now, applying the same rules we talked about earlier, it has to be a digger. It's faint, there's a little bit of iron with it, but it's still got that little high spike in the middle. It's repeatable. Let's have a look. Keep going. It's at the bottom of this hole. Ah, there it is, look. See it in the bottom of the hole? I'm pretty sure. Yep, another copper coin. It's amazing how that scratchy signal changes into something like that. It's not all about programs on the dais. Sometimes it's about your attention to details and how you perceive these targets. Why not go out there in the field, dig a few suspicious signals and let me know what you find. I'm quite convinced that many of them will turn into potentially finds of a lifetime. Thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next video.